Alright, welcome back. This is Tim Odell with Odell Complete Concrete. This is part 2 of this Huntington Beach driveway pour we're going to be doing, plus with the side yards as well. We also do have drains all down the side yards on both sides. It's a pretty big pour. It's about 30 yards of concrete. So we do have quite a few guys here today. I think we brought about 4 extra finishers outside of the in-house crew that we have. So in total, I believe we had about 8 guys here today. We are just starting off on the side yard, just pumping out all the slurry, or priming the hose of the pump so that no concrete gets caught on the pump. Well, that's the last thing you really want. And you can see right here, pulling up that rebar as usual. We'll never let that rebar sit on the ground, always in the middle of the concrete slab. And then as we are going down on the side yard, you can see we're circling those drains so that we have good slope towards those drains. And as we do go out on our sliders later on, we do always take a 2-foot level with us to confirm the slope and make any adjustments if the rod was not done perfectly. You can see that big stub up drain we have for the concrete we'll be doing later on in this backyard, because we're going to continue the drains throughout the backyard. Very important. Some concrete finishers will when they're prepping out people's side yards or whatever they're doing, don't think about that kind of thing, and it's very important that you continue the drainage throughout the backyard as well. I mean, even if the homeowner says, nothing about it, I think it's very important to add it, because sometimes the homeowners just aren't thinking about it, and that could really impact them later on with flooding issues in their backyard. You can see right there, we're hitting the side yard with a wooden bowl float as we are going out the side yard. We got to stop the pour as we are hitting it with the bowl float, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to reach it all. I think that's a 2.5 foot wide bowl float. And now we're just coming around the corner, starting to pour out the concrete patio in the front yard. And we'll stop at the driveway and take the concrete pump hose around to the other side yard before we start pouring out the driveway. The driveway and the apron approach will be the last thing we pour. Switch sides. Oh, that works. Yeah, that's better, huh? So because we do have a crown right at the corner before the driveway really starts to slope down, we noticed it was a little high against the garage right there. So they were rotting it from another angle to really get it to the right height we needed everything at. Kind of hard to tell in the video, but when you're there in person, you can see a lot more detail. And we did notice that. So you can also see we have our screed pins set up so that our 2x4 can separate the driveway into two sections to rot out. The screed pin also acts as a guide for when we are rotting the concrete so that we get exact levels of where we need our concrete levels to be at. And then we are just going back and forth on the driveway as we do rot it out. And then we, right over here, we're using our walking edger to put an edge on the concrete. Much nicer than having to just use a little hand edger and edging everything by hand with bending over. Not fun. Ruins your back over time. And then we got, these guys actually had a massive joint cutter. It was like 8 feet, I think. Literally as large as this patio. So you know that's going to be a nice straight line. No doubts about that. Right after he did cut it in, we did follow up with our joiner. It's a walking joiner as well, so this it can attach onto a pole. Cleans up the joints, gives it the nice radius edge. And these are those nice thin joints, about 1/2 inch instead of 3/4. I think they actually call it California joints, where they're nice and thin. And then this is where the 8-foot cutter really comes in handy when you're cutting a joint across a whole driveway like this. When it's so large, you can get a really nice straight line. And then right here is actually where we ran out of concrete. We I think we only poured about 2 10-yard concrete trucks out, and now we're just waiting for the last concrete truck to show up. This one just came a little later. The last concrete truck had about 9 yards in it, so a 29-yard pour. It's not good though. I don't like when they come in late like this, because it makes it always a little bit more difficult to finish the concrete. You can see where the joint we're cutting in right now. And what we like to do is when we do cut in a joint like that, so we don't have a very bad cold joint, we'll take the concrete at the cold joint and move it towards the bottom of the slab. And when we get the next concrete load in, that'll come to the top, so it's a stronger finish. So in the meantime, we're just going to be going over the rest of the concrete, working with what we got. I'm going over the main driveway slab right now with our Fresno. And then we're hitting all of the joints, cleaning those up. You can see right there, we're starting to move that concrete to the bottom, because the next load has just arrived and we're going to be pouring it out. While we also aren't pouring out the driveway though, we're doing all the other finishing around the side yards, hitting the joints, going over everything with Fresnos, sealing up the concrete. A lot going on in one day to film everything and get everything on camera. So since the elevation of this property was a lot higher than the neighbors, we did have to put a little bit of a form on the neighbor's driveway, and we put the stakes on the inside. And once we pulled the stakes, we just filled that extra concrete in and then faced the curb as well. It's a tapered curb as well, as you can see. So as you can see, we have one guy on the sliders up top of the driveway where it's a lot more hard. And we do have a joint kind of showing where the wet concrete is to the hard concrete. So it made it a little bit easier for us to be able to finish the slab without, the guy on the knee boards getting in the wrong places and sinking. You can also see the guy on the bull float. He's bull floating the slab in multiple directions. He's going horizontally and vertically, which is really good for the slab. So it really levels out the slab, gets it as flat as possible. And then you can also see one of our guys is already starting to broom the slab. And then he's throwing a little bit of water down so it gets a nice finish, since it's pretty hard in the top area. Luckily we got some sun on that lower section now, so the lower section should be going off on us. Yeah, as you can see, they're already on the knee boards, starting to hit the lower slab as well now. So this will be our last pass on this front concrete porch area. Once they finish this pass, we'll start the broom finish. And then this is the final look on this concrete driveway, concrete patio, and side yard. I actually tried to get a drone shot on the side yards, but I ended up hitting a tree and broke my drone. So I really didn't get any good shots to show you for the side yards, unfortunately. So I hope you guys enjoyed part 2. Make sure to give us a like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more Odell Complete Concrete videos. Alright, thank you for watching. Have a good one.